The morning sun filtered through the curtains of your teeny apartment, casting a golden glow on the chores that was your life. You grown rolling out of bed and stumbling toward the coffee machine. Today was the day you started your new job at the Kim Enterprises, one of the most prestigious companies in Seoul. You have spent weeks preparing for this moment, new outfit, polish, resume, and a determination to prove yourself. But little did you know your life was about to take a turn so dramatic even a K-drama writer would raise an eyebrow. You were running late, of course you were. The universe had a funny way of testing your patience, and today was no exception. You dashed into the nearest coffee shop, your heels clicking furiously against the tile floor. The line was long, and your anxiety was skyrocketing. You had exactly 20 minutes to get to the office, and you still needed your daily dose of caffeine to function like a normal human being. As you waited, tapping your foot impatiently, a man in a sleek black suit cut in front of you. He didn't even glance your way, just casually strolled to the counter and ordered his drink like he owned the place. You're just dope. Who did this guy think he was? The CEO of the world? Excuse me, you said, your voice dripping with sarcasm. The lines start back there. Your Highness. The man turned slowly, his sharp jawline and piercing eye making you momently forget your anger. He was ridiculously good-looking, but that did not give him the right to be a jerk. He raised an eyebrow, clearly amused by your audacity. Do you always talk to strangers like that? He asked, his voice smooth but laced with arrogance. Do you always cut in line like you are the main character in a drama? You shot back, crossing your arms. He smirked, leaning in slightly. Maybe I am. That did it. Your patience snapped before you could stop yourself. Your hands flew out and the slap connected with his cheek. The sound echoed through the coffee shop and everyone turned to stare. The man's head snapped to the side and when he looked back at you, his eyes were wide with shock. She just slapped me, he said, touching his cheek as if he could not believe it. And you just got in line, he replied. Your heart pounding but your face calm. Consider it a lesson in manners. He stared at you for a moment, then chuckled. It was a low, dangerous sound that sent shivers down your spine. You're bold, I will give you that. And you're rude. You shoved back, grabbing your coffee from the counter and storming out. You didn't have time for this. You had a job to get to. You arrived at Kim Enterprises with minutes to spare, your heart still racing from the encounter. The building was a towering glass structure that screamed wealth and power. You took a deep breath, smoothing down your skirt and fixing your hair. This was it, your chance to prove yourself. The elevator ride to the 30th floor was nerve-wracking. You rehearsed your introduction in your head. Determined to make a good impression, when the doors opened, you were greeted by a sleek, modern office bustling with employees. A friendly receptionist directed you to the conference room where the new hires were meeting the CEO. You walked in, your confidence wavering slightly as you took in the room full of impeccably dressed professionals. At the front of the room stood a man with his back to the door, his broad shoulders and tailored suit exuding authority. He turned around and your heart stopped. It was him, the guy from the coffee shop, the guy you slapped. His eyes locked onto yours and the slow, big smile spread across his face. Ah, our newest employee, he said, his voice dripping with amusement. I was wondering when you would show up. You felt the color drain from your face. This could not be happening. This was not happening. Ladies and gentlemen, he continued, addressing the room but keeping his eyes on you. I'm Kim Taehyung, your CEO. Welcome to Kim Enterprises. The room erupted into polite applause, but all you could hear was the sound of your own impending doom. Things smirked within as he walked toward you. He stepped slow and deliberate. I see you have already made quite the impression, he said, his voice low so only you could hear. I'm looking forward to working with you closely. You Saladar, your mind racing. This was a nightmare, a beautiful, terrifying nightmare. The rest of the day was a blur. You tried to focus on your training, but every time you looked up, Taehyung was there watching you with that infuriating smile. It was like he was waiting for you to slip up, to give him an excuse to fire you, but you were not going to give him the satisfaction. During lunch, you sat with a group of new hires trying to blend in, but of course, Singh had other plans. He strolled over, his presence commanding the attention of everyone at the table. How's everyone finding their first day? He asked, his eyes lingering on you. Yes, sir, one of your colleagues replied eagerly. We're excited to be here. Good. Taehyung said, his gaze still on you. And you, enjoying yourself? You forced a smile. Absolutely, sir. It's a dream come true. He's clearly enjoying your discomfort. I'm glad to hear it. By the way, I will need you to stay late tonight. There is some paperwork we need to go over. Your stomach dropped. Of course, sir. The office was quiet by the time everyone else had left. You sat at your desk nervously tapping your pen as you waited for Taehyung. When he finally appeared, he was carrying two glasses of wine. Relax, he says, setting one glass in front of you. This is not a fighting Scott. You took the glass, your finger brushing against his. Then, what is it? He leaned against your desk. He's just telling you. Consider it a chance to start over. You clearly have no problem speaking your mind, and I respect that. But slapping your boss on the first day, that's a new one. You groaned, burying your face in your hands. I'm so sorry, I did not know it was you. And if you had? He asked, his tone curious. You looked up, meeting his gaze. I still would have slapped you. You were being a jerk. He laughed, a genuine, hearty laugh that surprised you. You're something else, you know that? You shrugged, a small smile tugging at your lips. I have been told. Over the next few weeks, you found yourself working closely with Taehyung. Despite his initial arrogance, he was surprisingly kind and attentive. He valued your honesty and often sought your opinion on important decisions. You, in turn, found yourself drawn to his intelligence and the charm. One evening, as you were working late again, he walked into your office with a mischievous glint in his eyes. I have a proposition for you. He sat leaning against your desk. Oh, you asked, raising an eyebrow. What kind of proposition? He smirked. How would you like to be my personal assistant? You blinked, surprised. You're PA, but I'm not qualified for that. You're more qualified than you think, he said, his voice soft. I trust you, and I need someone who is not afraid to tell me when I'm being an idiot. You laugh, shaking your head. Well, when you put it like that, so is that a yes? He asked, his eyes hopeful. You smiled, yes. As the young PA, you quickly became an indispensable part of his life. Your days were filled with meetings, travel, and the occasional arguments, which usually ended with one of you storming out of the room only to make a platter. But through it all, you grew closer, your initial animosity turning into something deeper. One evening, as you were preparing for a gala, Taehyung walked into your office looking impossibly handsome in his tuxedo. Ready? He asked, holding out his arm. You smiled, taking his arm. Ready? As you walked into the gala together, you could not help but think about how far you would come. From slapping him in a coffee shop to standing by his side as his partner, your journey had been anything but ordinary. But as you looked up at him, his eyes filled with warmth and affection, you knew you would not have it any other way. The end.